It has somehow been another month, which of course means it is time to check out some of the best mods that have come out over the last 30 some odd days. That's right, in this monthly roundup, we're going to be going over some of the coolest and most interesting mods to have come out in the past month. But of course, if one of your favorite mods that came out this month isn't here, I'm sorry, there's only so many mods I can fit into one of these videos without making it take way too long. And of course, it is going to be up to my discretion what is, in my opinion, the best of the month. So I'm sorry if your mod didn't make it into this video, or if a mod that you enjoy isn't here. Trust me, there were a lot of good mods this month, so it is very, very hard to choose. So I may even give some honorable mentions at the end here, because I don't want this video to drag on for 15 hours. So let's go ahead and talk about our first mod this month, which is going to be the Enclave Recon Core Armor by Princess Aries. This is going to be an armor pack surrounding the Enclave faction, of course, providing you some really cool and unique armor sets in a way that I quite enjoy. When I first saw this mod, I thought it was going to be a whole bunch of separate armor sets, but it turns out it's really only two, and one of them is heavily modifiable. Technically, they're both heavily modifiable, but one of them is, it's on a whole other level. Now, with this armor set, you can come up with some pretty interesting combinations that could even give you something representative of the old Fallout 3 style Enclave armor, except it's not power armor. That's kind of the weirdest thing with this pack, actually, is when we're used to seeing Enclave armor in, like, Fallout 3, it was power armor, but power armor didn't look the same as it does in Fallout 4. Now it's practically a mech. So you have a base set of armor that kind of looks reminiscent of the old power armor, where it's shrunk down, a nice smaller scale, but still really beefy. And that thing comes with tons of modifications and attachments, especially to your helmet. There are modifications for the entire set of armor. You can put on different symbols, different attachments. You could have ammo strapped to your chest piece. You could have a Tesla armor. But there's also a bunch of helmets. Most of the helmets are completely original designs, but one of them is definitely reminiscent of that classic Fallout 3 look. So you can mix and match these parts quite a bit to get your desired style for the Enclave. That being said, there is also a power armor. But the power armor isn't itself a recreation of anything. It's actually a new set of Enclave power armor that is intended to go with this sort of scout squad. Which is weird, because we're so used to Enclave power armor, not only in Fallout 3, but in Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. So having something that's even different than that is pretty weird and interesting. And that is also heavily customizable. You can change out the helmets in different parts, and you can even customize the paint jobs on that one, since it does use the palette system of the power armors. Now, for those of you who are die-hard Enclave fans and were hoping for a recreation of an armor here, I'm sorry that there isn't a perfect recreation, but if you stay tuned, there actually is one later in the video. But for now, we have a really cool set of brand new armors that embody the theme of the Enclave. Except it's around sort of this squad that has their own unique armor twists with their own classifications. That's why there's pyro armor and Tesla armor, a sniper armor. The idea is that this is sort of like a Bad Batch style squad, but for the Enclave, and that's pretty cool. And to represent that, the way you get these armors is actually by going and hunting this squad down. If you head over to the South Boston military checkpoint where you'd normally find a couple of gunners, now you'll find a squad of the Enclave wearing all of these really cool armors, and that includes a unit who does have the power armor, and he's mighty scary. Once you wipe out this squad, the armors are yours for the taking, and then you can take them over to any armor workbench, and they will be heavily modifiable to pretty much anything you could desire. There's a lot of really cool options here to make some really cool stuff. I mean, if you just stare at the screenshots on this page, you'll know how cool some of the different combinations are. One of the coolest parts about the base armor set, not the power armor, but the actual armor, is that it is armor, not an outfit. It is actually segmented into the arms, chest piece, legs, each of which have customizations of their own so you can mix and match pieces, but also you can put this over any under armor you want. Speaking of which, there is a brand new under armor in this mod, which is going to be the Enclave undersuit and Enclave hood that you can wear with these armors. Sort of similar to the marine armor from Far Harbor, the hood can be worn by itself only, so you're choosing the hood or the helmet, but the undersuit, of course, is going to be wearable underneath the armor, so that works great. Overall, a fantastic armor set. Really cool that this comes in a nice pack with built-in integration with having those NPCs who actually wear the armor is always really, really cool. And for the Enclave, it makes sense that they're not level listed, but instead one particular set of NPCs that you can go and track down. I believe the lore is that they're trying to work with the gunners a little bit, but it doesn't matter for too long because as soon as you wipe them out, they're gone off the face of the earth forever. So, no more Enclave after that. But hey, maybe you need a new weapon to use with the Enclave. Why don't we check out the AE4 Tri-Beam Laser by Harmonica. Now, it's important to be clear here, this is not a perfect recreation of the Tri-Beam Laser Rifle from Fallout New Vegas. This is going to be a little bit of a different weapon. It has a different reload style than the vanilla laser rifles. It's going to use more of the plasma reload, where you load in the fusion cell from the top of the weapon as opposed to ejecting it out from the side. And while the attachments all have an homage to the classic Tri-Beam laser, it is not exactly the same. There's actually no way to get a perfect configuration that one-to-one mirrors that old-school Tri-Beam. This is intended to be a different weapon with its own style, emphasizing a lot of wooden parts, which is pretty cool. That includes grips and the forestock, but also having some of the more classic style parts like the really old-school laser rifle stock, or having some of the newer stuff by Micalov, like a crazy stock that has 3 fusion cells built into it to give you more ammo capacity when you equip it. Really cool style, really cool weapon mod, but it is a bit different from what you might be expecting for a Tri-Beam. I know that it was the case for me. I assumed that it had all these cool parts and the classic parts, but I was surprised to see that it's only new stuff. So that is interesting. It does help it differentiate from the vanilla laser rifle, but still have its sort of inspired style, look like it's part of the same family, but it's a different gun altogether. Whereas the classic Tri-Beam is pretty much the same exact gun with some different colors and some different parts. Now, this is a standalone weapon mod. It is not a modifiable laser gun, just to be clear. And if you want to get your hands on this thing, it actually is added to the leveled lists. The leveled list injection makes this thing spawn pretty much anywhere that you might find a typical laser rifle. You might find this one instead, and that starts at level 12. Now, since this is a Tri-Beam, it will always shoot 3 lasers, and you can modify the barrels to have different effects, like having a sniper barrel, which has a lot tighter grouping when aiming down sights. Those 3 lasers practically become one, giving you a ton of damage. Or you can even have this thing full auto, basically making a full auto shotgun, something you could already do in the vanilla game, but in this one it's pretty crazy because this thing boasts a lot of damage, but a very small magazine capacity, which is the balancing act with the vanilla laser rifle. So if you want to use this one, it has a bit of a skill gap. You want to make sure to hit all those shots because they're doing a lot of damage, and you're going to have to reload quite often. Overall, a super fun, vanilla-friendly weapon mod that is integrated nicely. I can't complain about this one too much. NIF bashes are always nice, and this one is no different. I quite like this thing. It looks really cool in the game, and it's integrated in a way that makes it fit alongside the vanilla weapons. Really can't complain about anything here. Now, the next mod we're checking out is a standalone release from the OWAP team, and that is the Advanced Hazmat Suit. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, the OWAP team is known as the Old World Add-on Project, and they aim to add in everything you could imagine from past Fallout games and even future Fallout games. They're adding stuff from Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 76, perfectly recreated from scratch by hand, which I can always appreciate people who are putting time and effort into their craft and making sure that they're making all of their stuff from scratch. The human ingenuity in this mod is fantastic, and is the same with all of the Old World Add-on Project mods. Now, you could expect this just to be a recreation of the hazmat suit from Fallout 3 and New Vegas, but it does have a little bit more going on. You are going to get that classic suit, which of course has the nice yellow plastic overcoat and the classic bluish gray style visor, but there's actually matte swaps for all of these. You can change out the color of the suit and the visor to make some cool combinations. For example, you can make the suit white and the visor orange to have something reminiscent of the Fallout 3 Enclave style hazmat suit, which looks really, really cool. Or you can throw on red and a blue visor if you really, really like Among Us. There's a lot of cool combinations that you can make here that are even beyond the scope of the typical ones that you see for Fallout. And it, of course, is going to have leveled list integration, which is really, really cool. Now, the reason that this integration is cooler than your typical leveled list is because there is now a new type of feral ghoul that you can find, known as the Glowing One Reaver, which will start spawning after level 25, who will don this suit. That's right, you're picking this up from a feral ghoul, not human NPCs. Isn't that interesting? It's actually something I've been seeing from the OWAP team in their work in progress pictures, is a lot of new types of enemies who could be wearing some of their new armors, implying that these things existed pre-war, before these characters got ghoulified, which I think is really, really cool. Now, on top of that leveled list integration, there are a couple of other variants of the radiation suit and the radiation suit itself that are hand-placed around the world, so you can actually find these without needing to find any ghouls to kill that happen to be wearing them. So, you can find an advanced radiation suit, which can be found over in the decayed reactor bunker. There can also be 2 found over in the mass fusion containment shed, and 2 more in Sentinel site, all places that make sense to have an advanced radiation suit. You can find an all-purpose science suit over in the mass medical bay. 3 of those can be found in the medtech research facility, and 2 can be found in the Institute FEV lab. The Enclave scientist suit can be found over at the vertibird wreckage in the glowing sea, or on any of the Enclave scientists if you have the America Rising 2 patch included in this mod. And then there is a hazard suit, which can be found in ArcJet, Cambridge Mass Chemical, or the old robotics wing of the Institute. And then finally, there is a unique environment suit, which can be found over in the Cambridge Polymer Labs, sitting in one of the director's display cases, which is a bit more unique than the other ones, coming with its own cool color combinations, and it is clearly a reference to Half-Life. Overall, a wonderfully recreated armor with wonderful integration into the game. Big props to everybody at the OWAP team who worked on this. This is a fantastic little piece of work. It might seem like a simple suit, but it adds us some nostalgic armor that has really cool customization and really cool integration into the game, which honestly checks all of my boxes for being one of the really, really fantastic releases for this month. Now we have something a bit more interesting. You may be familiar with a mod known as Mind Games, which is a huge overhaul to the quests in Fallout 4. Well, now we have a standalone release for a weapon that will be included with Mind Games known as the Handmade Laser Rifle. This is going to be the Handmade Rifle, the AK from Nuka World, that has been overhauled to be an energy weapon. And that doesn't just mean, oh, we made it change the projectiles from bullets to lasers. This thing got a complete facelift. It's practically a new weapon in the style of the old AK. This thing comes complete with a completely remade receiver that has all kinds of energy parts, a new magazine which has fusion cells instead of the typical bullets that are integrated in a super cool way. It has its own custom barrels and stocks and all the attachments you could expect for a weapon, except now they're all energy-ified. The stocks are pretty much the most boring section, but they even have their own custom parts that have fusion cells built in. And there's even a recreated AK stock which is missing from vanilla, all of which are going to use vanilla textures, so this mod is actually pretty dang lightweight. There are even some tweaked animations for this mod to include custom sounds whenever you reload that are really cool and add some nice humming and energy noises. And they will be default left-handed, which is pretty interesting because they are separate from the vanilla animation, so you can't actually overwrite them unless you were to make your own patch. By default, this thing is in semi-auto, but much like energy weapons in vanilla, you can equip a barrel that makes it full auto, or you can equip a sniper barrel. Some pretty cool options there to make some different configurations. This weapon's pretty neat, and the different attachments available, like the really cool custom reflex sight, really sell this mod as being something truly different from the AK that it was derived from. Sort of like a radium rifle version of the AK, except with lasers instead of gamma damage. Something I kind of wish we would have seen in the vanilla game is seeing the radium rifle in its standard config and its radium config. We kind of get that here, where you can get the Nuka World AK, or you can get it like this with all of the laser parts, and I think that's fun. Now, there is only one minor complaint that I have about this mod. It's a fantastic weapon, which is the only reason this is a complaint. It's not added to the leveled lists. That's something I would love to see. I would love seeing raiders or maybe gunners with laser AKs. That's super Fallout to me, but sadly that's not how it works. The intention of this mod is that it is supposed to be a unique weapon that is found during the Mind Games quest line, so therefore it's not added to level lists. However, if you get it here at the standalone mod, you can craft it over at the chemistry station. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to add crafting because this is a standalone version, I don't see why you wouldn't also add leveled integration in the standalone version. If you want it obtainable in the Mind Game story, have it that way in the Mind Game story. But if we're going to be downloading the standalone mod anyways, I would love to see this thing on enemies so much. And the only reason this is a complaint is because I love the gun so much. You really criticize the things that you love, and I love this weapon a lot. And so I'd like that one little tweak. Of course, that is something I will be doing for my own game because it's not too hard to add leveled lists, but I still would like it for the mass people who are going to be downloading this thing who may not know how to do that themselves. So, who knows, maybe we'll see a patch one day, or maybe even an update that will add level integration, but until then, you will have to craft this thing. Either way, it's a wonderful weapon, you're going to have a lot of fun with it, even if you have to craft it. And finally, that takes us to our last mod of the video, something I think you'll all be excited for. You probably already saw it in the thumbnail. Heck, it might even be why you clicked on this video. It's the classic Remnants Power Armor by Temmis. It's Lady Silly, Princess Aries, Spady, and Rusty Shackleford. A whole lot of people worked on this mod because we have modelers, implementation artists, CK work, all kinds of stuff going into this mod, and it really shows. There's a lot of fantastic stuff going on with this power armor. I'm not usually a power armor guy, and I'm definitely not an Enclave guy, but I can definitely respect the amount of detail that went into this mod. This is a recreation of the Remnants style power armor, something you see in Fallout New Vegas, but rigged to the power armor frame. And they did a great job. Usually, even when the coolest, most high-quality power armor mods come out, in my mind, the back there's still a little voice that's screaming, "Ah, man, I hate the power armor frames. They're so big and bulky. The idea is cool, but they're just ugly." That's not the case on this one. It looks sleek and slim, but still big and menacing at the same time. It doesn't have that same sort of bulk and nasty look that most power armors on the frame do. And so I really like this thing. It's sort of like a beefed up version of the Fallout New Vegas Remnants power armor. It kind of looks reminiscent to the old Fallout, like the old Fallout games, when the Enclave was a big, beefy, action figure looking character, but it doesn't look wrong. It looks right. It looks really, really, really good. And the textures in game look fantastic. On the mod page, they have a different EMB setup than I do, so I wasn't sure how it was going to look, but in my game, they look absolutely fantastic, and there's also some built-in glowing and moving parts that make this thing really shine. At night, you'll have some faint oranges coming out of crevices where there are little lights, including your eyes, but also, you have the built-in fan on the back, which does rotate. It's actually fully animated and has the cool orange glow. It's fantastic. It's even adapted to take the fusion cores in the back with a new receptacle that all looks like it should have been there in the first place. This is truly a masterwork of power armor, and if you're an Enclave fan, I imagine this is probably going to be your new set of power armor. It's awesome. Now, how would you integrate a set of Enclave power armor like this? Well, once again, it is a unique, something that should not be added to the level list. As much as I love them, it wouldn't make sense for the Enclave. So if you want to get your hands on this armor, after you reach level 30, you'll find a new note by the Wanted poster that will send you on a quest to the southwestern edge of the glowing sea near Vault 95, where you will find a brand new boss who is wearing this armor. Alternatively, of course, you could spawn it in if you want to cheat, or maybe you want duplicates. If you're really trying to go hard on the Enclave character, you could spawn in more of these for your companions or for your settlement or whatever. But for the lore-friendly way, if you're just trying to play a normal old guy who's trying to collect all the stuff, this is awesome. I love having fun, unique enemies who house these really cool, unique sets of armor or weapons or whatever. And this armor did a great job. 3 fantastic armor mods this week. I can't believe it. We almost never get armors, and all of a sudden we have 3 lore-friendly armors that are all amazing. Really, really lucky this month. So, if you want to try any of these mods out for yourself, they will all be linked down in the description below. As always, go support these authors. They're doing wonderful stuff. As usual, I'm not going to be talking about my mods here. They always get to shine on their own anyways. This is a place to showcase really, really talented authors who are making amazing stuff. So go to each of these links, download the mods, endorse them, vote for them if you love them. These guys are doing fantastic work, and there's more work coming. I've already gotten a few early copies of some other mods that I'm really, really excited for. So I think April might be even cooler. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, consider dropping it a like. It really helps with the channel, and it's a way to support me for free. However, if you're looking for a more direct way to support me, whether it's the videos like this I make here on YouTube or the mods I make myself over on the Nexus, you can do so by checking me out over on Patreon. It is the best way to support me directly, but of course, it's really optional. Not something you should consider unless you really, really want to. Those of you who have disposable income and you want to support me in that way, that's a fantastic way to do so. But if you are not able to do that, don't. Please don't. Matter of fact, save all of your money, go buy Taco Bell instead. I really couldn't care. That's just a place for people who want to. As usual, I hope you guys enjoyed once again, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!